it's really cool.
tested it.
HCon Res 19, authorizing the use of, oh, it's on. It says on. Okay, I'll get closer. No one needs to hear it anyway. Authorizing the use of the Capitol grounds for the Greater Washington Soapbox Derby to direct the Library of Congress to obtain a stained glass panel depicting the seal of District of Columbia and install a panel among the stained glass panels depicting the seals of the states which overlook the main reading room of the Library of Congress, Thomas Jefferson Building, and H.R. 639 to amend Section 327, Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act to clarify that National Urban Search and Rescue Response System task forces may include federal employees. Given competing hearings and obligations for members this morning, and because no amendments were offered by members or any of those, although we just had some discussion of a soapbox derby amendment, but we'll talk about that later. My hope is to move these measures quickly. We'll consider the views and estimates first, and then other measures en bloc. Views and estimates, I now call up the committee's fiscal year 2020 views and estimates and ask unanimous consent that they be considered as read and open to amendment at any point. Without objection, so ordered. I want to thank the ranking member for working with us on the committee's budget views and estimates. The committee's fiscal year 2020 views and estimates states that through direct investment, we can build a 21st century infrastructure for America that creates jobs, including family wage jobs, facilities, economic growth, and ensures global competitiveness. It also requests budget resolution to reflect the authorized levels in the FAST Act, taking into consideration a repeal of the rescission in that act, and requests a deficit-neutral reserve fund for infrastructure. I now recognize Ranking Member Graves for a statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for working with us on the views and estimates. I believe the document accurately lays out our legislative goals for the year, and it's going to ultimately help us achieve them. I would urge my colleagues to support the views and estimates for fiscal year 2020, and I'd yield back the balance.
Any other members wish to be heard on views and estimates? Therefore, with none, 2020 budget views and estimates. Okay, thankfully. If there are none, the question is now on adoption of the fiscal year 2020 budget views and estimates of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed? Ayes have it, and our views and estimates are adopted. On block, I now call up HCon Res 16, HCon Res 19, HR 1318, and HR 639 on block. I ask unanimous consent that the Subcommittee on Economic Development, Public Buildings, Emergency Management is discharged from further consideration of HCon Res 16, HCon Res 19, HR 1318, HR 639 in block, and the measures be considered as read and open to amendment at any point. Without objection, so ordered. HCon Res 16 was introduced by Rep. Titus, authorized the use of the Capitol grounds for National Peace Officers Memorial Service and the National Honor Guard and Pipe Band Exhibition. On May 15th, the 38th Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service will honor over 140 fallen federal, state, and local law enforcement officers who died in the line of duty in 2018. And on May 14th, the Fraternal Order of Police, National Honor Guard, and Pipe Band Exhibition will provide law enforcement from around the country the opportunity to showcase their honor guards and hold a separate pipe band exhibition. HCon Res 19, introduced by Majority Leader Hoyer. This legislation authorizes the use of the Capitol grounds for the annual Greater Washington Soapbox Derby. The Soapbox Derby allows children to demonstrate their dedication, work, and creativity by building and racing soapbox cars. H.R. 1318, introduced by Rep. Norton. This legislation would ensure the seal of District of Columbia is included in the planned renovation, restoration of the existing stained glass panels and seals at the Library of Congress. H.R. 639, introduced by Rep. Hartzler. This legislation explicitly clarifies federal employees are allowed to participate in the National Urban Search and Rescue USAR response system task forces, which are coordinated by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Federal Emergency Management Agency developed the National USAR response system over the last several decades to act as a force multiplier for disaster rescue missions. I now recognize Ranking Member Graves for his statement on the measures en bloc.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support each of the measures included in this en bloc package of legislation. I urge my colleagues to do the same. I do want to mention first in Resolution 16, which authorizes the use of the Capitol grounds for National Peace Officers Memorial. We have 3 fallen officers from Missouri being honored this year: Deputy Sheriff Aaron P. Roberts of Greene County, Deputy Sheriff Casey Shoemate, and Officer Christopher R. Morton of the Clinton County, or Clinton Police Department in the state of Missouri. These gentlemen and their families, along with those being honored, deserve our gratitude and support. You've very nicely laid out all of the other bills. So with that, I'd urge my colleagues to support the en bloc package of legislation. I yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have a statement from Representative Holmes Norton, which will be entered into the record without objection. So moved. Do any other members wish to be recognized for statements on any of the measures en bloc under consideration today? No, no amendment on the soapbox here. Okay. Are there any amendments to the measures en bloc? Okay, final passage. If there are none, the question is now on adoption of the measure en bloc. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Aye. Nay. Nope. Okay. Ayes have it. Measures adopted. I ask unanimous consent that each bill reported today will be reported as a single amendment in the nature of a substitute, incorporating any amendments adopted without objection. So ordered. I ask unanimous consent that the staff be authorized to make all necessary technical, clarifying, conforming changes to each of the bills reported today to reflect the actions of the committee without objection. So ordered. Pursuant to House Rule 22, Clause 1, I ask unanimous consent that the chair or his designee be authorized to offer such motions as may be necessary in the House to go to conference with the Senate on the legislation adopted today or any similar measure without objection. So ordered. I ask unanimous consent that pursuant to Rule 11, Clause 2L, members have 2 days in which to file a supplemental minority, additional, or dissenting views on legislation adopted today without objection. So ordered. I ask unanimous consent that members of this committee be given 7 days to file supplemental minority and dissenting views to the committee's fiscal year 2020 views and estimates without objection. So ordered. I ask unanimous consent that the chairman, after consultation with the ranking member, has the authority to strike or revise any provision of the bills reported today that would cause a sequential referral to another committee or that would cause the bills or concurrent resolutions to be subject to a Budget Act rule or Rule 21 PAYGO point of order without objection. So ordered. Pursuant to Rule 5 of the Rules Committee of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, the chair notes the presence of a quorum for actions taken on all committee business today. With that, the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure has completed its business for the day, and the committee is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.